Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Awesome. Looks good, Kimberly.
Sorry for the technical difficulties getting on a little later than we'd like. We had a little bit of a conflict with a city council meeting that's going on right now.
Oh,
It just made the YouTube setup a little different.
I see. Worked it out. Thank you.
Yeah, we're good to go.
All right. Well, it is 10:30, our published start time. So why don't I go ahead? Is staff ready to go? I see as Monet joined the group, she's first item on the agenda.
Yeah, she's here and she is a panelist. And Kristen is here as well.
Excellent. Well, why don't I call to order the February 18th, 2021 meeting of the zoning administrator. My name is Andy Gustafson. I serve as zoning administrator for the city. This meeting is being conducted online so as to avoid the transmission of COVID-19. In accordance with the public health orders, we have run this zoning administrator meeting virtually since the start of 2021 or midway, 2020. So those of you who may have joined us, I don't see anybody in attendance at this point, but I will, let me look at the list here. We do have 3 attendees. So for your benefit, I just want to review a little bit how the meeting's being conducted before we start in on the agenda. Those of you who have logged in, I can see, or joined us through Zoom. As we go through the meetings and when you're called upon or when there's an opportunity for your testimony or comments, please raise your hand. The icon is available on the screen. And when you do so, we'll recognize you and you'll need to unmute yourself to speak. And then in terms of those of you who may have called in, and I see no one has done so, I'll keep my eye open for telephone numbers as the meeting progresses. But for those of you who are on and for some reason your connection begins to fail on Zoom, you do have the option to call in. The information there is on the agenda. And in that case, if you do call in, you'll press *9 to be recognized when you're called upon to comment or when there's an opportunity for you to comment. Okay, so with that preliminary introduction done, the agenda sets forth items on our that will be discussed today. I do want to note that items 3.3 and 3.4 are being continued at the request of the applicants, and they will be rescheduled. I will ask the project planner when the items may be rescheduled if there's a date certain. Kimberly, if you could scroll down and allow me to identify. There you go. Thank you. It's the first continued item is for a minor design review permit at 3975 Old Redwood Highway, and Kristen A. Tuman's a project planner. Kristen A., is this matter continued to a date certain, or will it come back at a further date unknown?
Yes, we'd like to request from the zoning administrator continuing the item to the March 18th zoning administrator meeting.
Okay. And then also, and that's for information for those of you who are participating might be interested in that item. When we come to that matter on the agenda, or formally continue it to that March 18th date. Is the project planner Adam Ross available? Is there a date certain to continue the item 3.4, a conditional use permit and design review for 520 Doyle Park Drive.
Yes, we are requesting that the item be continued to a date certain of the March 4th, 2021 zoning administrator public meeting, which is the next scheduled meeting.
Thank you so much. Okay. Why don't you remain on the line if there's any member of the public at the time the matter comes forward that might have a question, and then we can respond to those. But we will not have public hearing on those two items. All right. So let's go back to the top of the agenda. We've called to order the meeting. We do offer an opportunity for the public to comment at the start of the meeting on a matter that is not scheduled for discussion on this agenda. If you wish to comment on a topic that is not scheduled for the agenda, please raise your hand and you'll be recognized and have 3 minutes to comment. Seeing no requests for public comment, let's move on to the scheduled items. And the first item on our agenda today is item 3.1, modification to a minor conditional use permit at, if you can scroll down, oops, I lost it. 1 moment, please. There you go. I'm using the online screen to announce this first matter. Modification to a conditional use permit at 61 Montgomery Drive, and the project planner is Ms. Sikali.
Good morning, Mr. Gustafson. And thank you. I'm going to share my page right now, my screen. Okay. Screen to share. Can you see my screen?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So as you mentioned, this is a minor modification or minor conditional use permit for Go Get Bread, located at 61 Montgomery Drive. The project will basically expand the existing bakery to adjacent unit, and also will include a professional office for architecture office. An architecture office is like is in our land use is described as professional office, and it requires minor use permit in CO, Office Commercial Zoning District. I'm going to provide more information right now. So here is the site plan, project site. It is zone CO, which stands for Office Commercial, and the general plan land use is office and medium density residential. It's 2 land uses. Here are the 2 suites, 61 and another one is 51. I'm not sure about the existing one, but however, the red square here shows the location of 2 suites and the existing wall. So here is the floor plan. I'm going to explain what our changes are and what's going to happen. On the left side, we have the larger suite, which is number 61. It used to be a gym. I believe it used to be karate classes. Currently is vacant and is not being used. The bakery is the narrow, longer floor plan, and it got approval for the bakery in 2016. So with the new proposal, the wall between those 2 suites will be moved and the bakery will get additional 670 square feet. The proposed floor plan is on the left side. As you can see, this is the new wall and the new bakery will be expanded. The number of employees and the hours of operation for the bakery will remain the same. There are no changes at the use of hour and employees. And the new architecture office will have 2 employees working there Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And also portion of that office will be shared by the bakery for accessory office use. And beside that, this is the floor plan, existing and the proposed one. I sent a notice to neighbors within 600 feet. I did not receive any comments from the public regarding the proposed use. And the project has been reviewed in compliance with California Environmental Quality Act, and it qualifies for section 15303 class 3. in that the project consists of the conversion of small structure from one use to another use with no exterior modification. With that, the Planning and Economic Development Department recommends that the zoning administrator by resolution approve a minor conditional use permit for the property located at 61 Montgomery Drive. And that was my presentation. Thank you. Andy, I can't hear you. You're muted.
Thanks. That was a good presentation. I have no questions. Pretty straightforward proposal. Now I invite the applicant or the owner. If they wish to comment. Please raise your hand and you'll be recognized. I see no one requesting. We do have one person. Please go ahead.
Hello, thank you so much for all the work that you guys are doing and for setting this up. Thank you. My name is Najin Shariat. I'm the owner of Go Get Bread.
Do you have any additional information you wish to add to Ms. Sikali's presentation? Or, I mean, I think hers was pretty straightforward.
She has covered pretty much everything and just wanted to thank you. That's all. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's good to see that the bakery is expanding. That's a good sign.
Thank you.
I'm a fan. All right. If anyone else wishes to comment from the public at this point that might be in attendance, please raise your hand and you'll be recognized. Seeing none, I'll close the discussion portion of this item on the agenda. At this time, with this item and as the other ones that follow, if I have any questions, I'll ask those to clarify the requested permit, in this case, minor design review. Really, this is a very straightforward project, interior tenant improvements and existing use being expanded. Very clearly supported by the findings presented in the resolution prepared by Ms. Sikali. So I'm very pleased to approve the requested design review, and this matter will be I'll say effective, or I should say there's a 10-day appeal period after any decision that's taken here today. And 10 days, if any aggrieved party wishes to appeal, should contact the project planner. The 10-day appeal period concludes on, let me check the calendar, March 1st. So with that, we're done with item 3.1 and we can move on to item 3.2. And if I can request the recording secretary to switch to the agenda, I'd appreciate that. So the second item is for conditional use permit at 386 Yolanda Avenue, Unit C. And Ms. Sikali, again, is the project planner. You give your report, please.
Sure. And I'm going to share my screen again. So this is another minor conditional use permit for the property located at 386 Yolanda Avenue, Suite C. The name of the project is North Coast Distribution, LLC. And the proposal is for a cannabis distribution type 11 that will take place at Suite C. Here is a close aerial view of the site. And I'm trying to show the Suite C location, which is adjacent on the south side along residential uses. Here is the site that has a zone light industrial, and it is consistent with the general plan land use, which is also light industry. This is a site plan. There are total of 7 suites there. One is vacant, and there are other cannabis uses also already proposed there with the use permit. And the new suite that is going to be used for distribution is Suite C in the red square here being shown. The total size of the suite is 2,000 square feet, and the parking is already improved and provides the number of required parkings there. Per our zoning code, distribution land use is permitted by right in light industrial zoning, but a minor use permit will be required if they use abutting a residential land use. And the reason that the current use requires a use permit because there are residential on the south side of the site. This is the floor plan that shows 2 trucks will fit inside of it. And the applicant has provided project description, and in the project description, they have included an odor mitigation plan, which is certified by an engineer, licensed engineer, to prevent any other odors outside of the building. They have included secure procedures for the proposed use, and they have mentioned the delivery or the loading of the materials will take place inside of the building. So basically the work will happen inside of the building, and the project is also subject to building and fire permits, and the applicant will obtain the required permits for the project. A notice was sent out to neighbors within 600 feet. I did not receive any comments or emails regarding the proposed project, and this project has been reviewed under CEQA, and it qualifies for 2 exemptions. One is 15301, which is the project consists of alteration of an existing private structure with no expansion of the use. And then also it qualifies for class 32, which is an infill. With that, the Planning and Economic Development Department recommends that the zoning administrator by resolution approve a minor conditional use permit for the property located at 386 Yolanda Avenue, Suite C. And that was my presentation. Thank you.
Again, thank you for a clear accounting of this project. I think it's a pretty straightforward one. And also highlighting the fact that it is requiring this minor use permit because of its location adjoining a residential area. This is a time in this discussion on this matter for the applicant or the applicant's team to comment. If you wish to do so, please raise your hand and you'll be recognized. And I see one that wishes to. Could you please just state your name?
Yes, good morning, Chair. Thank you for your time. This is Kayvon Bagby. I'm the project supervisor or project manager for North Coast Distribution. Just wanted to thank you all for your time and let you know that I am here and available for questions should you have any.
Thank you. I don't at this time. Is there any member of the, oh, I see that another party wishes to comment. Please state your name.
Hello, this is Eric Forstall. I'm the architect on the project. This is our 3rd project, cannabis style project on the property, and it's the 2nd distribution, cannabis distribution business that's going to be on this project. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm also available for any questions also. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Is there any other member of the project team that wishes to comment or at this point? If not, let's move on to the public. If any member of the public is in attendance that wishes to comment, please raise your hand and you'll be recognized. Seeing none, I'll close the discussion on this matter. Yes, I recall this site has had other permits come before the zoning administrator for Cannabis Act uses. The presentation of the project, the plan submitted and description was very clear. So I will recommend approval, but I would like to request that the resolution that was submitted, prepared by the staff, be modified to clarify that this minor use permit is for a distribution facility. And I don't know if Ms. Sikali, can you share with us on screen recommended changes to the first finding and the third finding?
Sure. So on the first finding, I added the conditional use permit per section and table, but it says for this use, a minor use permit will be required. And on the third finding, I clarified that the loading and unloading of cannabis products will occur inside of the building. With the previous resolution, I had deliveries will be inside. So I tried to clear that definition there.
And I appreciate that. I think these changes will complete the resolution so that a future reader will fully understand the actual use of the property and the activity. So that clarification is helpful. Does not change in any way the conditions or the substantive recommendation of this resolution. It's just a clarifying edit. So I appreciate very much that you presented those, Ms. Sikali. And so I will approve the project as modified and read into the record. And this project goes forward. There's a 10-day appeal period that also applies here should any member of the public wish to do so by the end of the day, March 1st, 2021. Thank you. So now we get to move on to item 3.3, which was one of the items that was continued, and it is for a minor design review at 3975 Old Redwood Highway. And I just want to make sure that there's no member in the audience in attendance today that came to hear or offer testimony regarding this project. If so, please raise your hand and we'll recognize you. And I see none. So I'll repeat earlier that this matter will be continued to a date certain to March 18th. No notice will go out, and we'll take up the discussion on that date. So that concludes item 3.3. It's been continued. Item 3.4, also we learned at the beginning of the meeting, has been continued to March 4th. And is there any member of the audience who is in attendance to discuss or comment on this matter? And I, for some reason, have lost my Zoom.
I don't see any hands on this one, Andy.
Okay, I've lost my Zoom. I was
we do.
toggling between the agenda and the Zoom screen, and I've lost my Zoom screen. It's crazy.
We actually do have one hand that just popped up.
Okay, go ahead and recognize that person, and please state your name.
Yeah, my name is Bobby Wilder. I'm just a neighbor adjacent to this property in review, and I just wanted to hear their proposal. So it sounds like they're going to be here on March 18th. Is that correct?
No, this matter will come back on the 4th, March 4th.
On the March 4th. Okay.
One moment. Were you speaking of item 3.3 or item 3.4?
Let's see, 3.3.
Okay, so that's the Kaiser Medical Office Building parking lot expansion?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that will come back on the 18th, correct?
On the 18th, okay.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and how would I, let's see, I got a notice in the mail about this meeting. If I wanted to contact Kaiser, how would I contact Eric Amadei? I guess it was filed
My-
by Eric. Yeah.
Yeah, my suggestion is you reach out to the project planner, who would be listed on the notice. The phone number and email will be there, and
Okay.
she should be able to provide you the contact information.
Mr. Wilder, I can also let you know that all the information for this new meeting, including a new Zoom meeting ID, will be posted to our website. So that would be, it's actually listed up here too, srcity.org/zoning admin. Current meeting information is always posted to that page. Because of the fact that the date was announced at this meeting, you will not receive another postcard. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Andy.
You are absolutely correct on that. So I'm just standing by. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that would be the best way to find information about attending that March 18th meeting, is to go to that page. If you would like more project information, there's also project information posted to that page from today's meeting. And if you have any additional questions, there's contact information for the project planner on the page as well.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Thank you. And I finally recovered my screen. That's really embarrassing. So I can actually see myself. Appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely correct. Appreciate that explanation. There will be posting prior to the meeting on the 18th, as will be the case for the item 3.4, which will be continued to March 4th. So seeing that there is no one in attendance who will, so Mr. Wilder, if you can lower your hand.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We have two attendees that remain, and I assume that they're here for item 3.4. And if there's any questions about that, please raise your hand. Otherwise, know that the matter will be taken up at our next zoning administrator meeting scheduled for March 4th. All right. Well, seeing no raised hands, we've completed today's agenda for the zoning administrator of February 18th. I bring the meeting to a close and adjourn at 10:57 a.m.